summer he was free, and I just kept begging him. And he finally sort of, I think he was just trying to torture me, actually. He finally relented. He arrived while we were shooting on the first day. I actually knew that he was coming the day before.
Joe Flaherty had his fingers crossed.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
The people in charge of allowing you to film at Fort Knox, did they read the script?
I think they did. You know, it was a different period. It was shot in 1981, I think, or something like that. We talked them into it. Dan Goldberg and Len Bloom literally spent weeks on various forts, going on tours with very prominent sort of people from the Defense Department, and basically talked them into it. I didn't even do it, even though I'm technically the producer of the movie. The writers talked them into it and said, you know, I think this would be a good recruiting device for the Army. And you know, the amazing thing, it did turn out to be, Army recruitment went way up. It seemed so much fun to be in the Army. We just hit that sweet spot, you know, between Vietnam and Iraq.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to talk about the mud wrestling scene, if you would.
Not one of my more successful scenes, I would say. It's the one when your mom turns to me and says,
There's a lot of nudity.
I was just going to say, it's amazing to me how much nudity you could get into like a playful kind of family film back then. Because now we have to like fight for a single nipple. Am I right, Jason?
Yeah, no. He seriously walks into his apartment. There's his girlfriend. Oh, she's topless. Jack, you're such a perv.
It was the 80s.
Is it that sweet spot?
And, you know, it was an R-rated film, and R-rated films didn't have the stigma that they do right now. Now there's a whole, and, you know, I've at least produced or directed a number of R-rated comedies, and sort of never worried about it, but it seems to be getting harder and harder. It's nice that Judd Apatow's finally come back and sort of decided to, you know, take on that mantle in a whole new way, and has done a wonderful job. But there was sort of, as the marketers have taken over really the making of movies for big Hollywood studios, you know, the freedom of just sort of making the funniest movie you possibly can without worrying about it has sort of disappeared to a great extent.
Yeah.
You're going to bring it back. You too.
Single-handedly. Yes.
There's such a wealth of comedy talent in the film, and it's really great to watch it because you can see them almost trying to, you know, kind of pull the jokes and get the attention and everything. Did that translate to behind the scenes as well? Was everybody trying to be the funniest guy in the room, or?
No, I think they were really serious about playing their parts. I really like the first half of the movie the best of this. I mean, I really love the graduation sequence, but frankly, it's very tough then to go beyond it. And even writing, and we've used this movie as a model for other films, institutional comedies that we've tried to do. And one of the really hard things is that it climaxes at the end of the second act. And from the very beginning, when we started showing the film to audience, I remember the first sneak we had for it, the first test audience screening, you know, we actually started getting applause. It was great. We saw that we were starting to get applause. Actually, I remember this as if it happened yesterday. The first time the audience applauded was when they do Do-Wah-Diddy and they're walking down. That was shot in 10 minutes, that scene where it was 5 tanks, the kids starting to sing and doing that little choreography. It was literally thrown together, organized shot. By the way, this is one of the first movies that ever had a Steadicam in it. I don't think I could have made this movie without a Steadicam. Yeah, it allowed me to sort of move the camera and sort of do these fairly complicated shots, all in a very fast way. And it was a sort of a new invention. And the guy who invented it, Garrett Brown, I think that's his name. Actually, Gareth?
Garrett.
Yeah, Gareth Brown. He was my Steadicam operator. He had invented the machine, and there he was. And thank God, the whole sort
The
of...
brothers Lumiere were cranking the camera.
Not quite that long ago.
It's just cool that he was the Steadicam.
So the graduation scene was done, the entire graduation scene, that whole big scene with the... Because A was the Army, so they were told, go here, you go here, you go here, and they go there. It's really wonderful. You don't have to fight with anybody. And so we shot everything in that scene, from the choreographed dance to the sergeant, to the general asking the questions, to all that prep stuff with the band and everything, and the parade stuff in one day. And why am I saying all this? I'm just bragging.
No, this is amazing. I like hearing about things being done well.
Thank you. But I'm trying to answer a question.
Second act climax.
Sorry, second act climax. Thank you. So we never, and that got a huge applause every time it was shown, and it was nice of you to do the same thing tonight. And then we couldn't figure out how to get, and we instinctively knew that even in the writing, and so, we invaded Czechoslovakia. And now we make it, which is where I was born, and it was sort of a thing. But now in the writing process of films like this, we keep talking about, well, how are we going to invade Czechoslovakia? What's the, how are we going to top sort of what seems to be the natural climax in the writing?
It's funny, this is the first time I watched and I noticed this, that this came out in '82, and 4 years later, Full Metal Jacket came out,
Yeah.
and it completely copies the structure. Kubrick totally ripped you off and made it much less funny.
File,
That's my style.
Are we cool?
Thank you so much.
Oh, we got one more?
One last.
I was introduced to Trailer Park Boys by some Canadian friends of mine, and a lot of us in this room watched in horror as American studios tried to violate Spaced, and I was wondering if you're fearful. Exactly. I wonder if you're fearful of them trying to do the same thing to the Trailer Park Boys, kind of trying to bring it here and not really understanding it.
I hope that, we never really did very well with Trailer Park Boys here, which is a lovely, funny movie that I'm quite proud of, and I'm hoping that the series will come here and be finally picked up by one of the cable networks so that it can be appreciated by Americans more. Anyway, it was great fun to be here. It was great fun to see you again.
I think a little 10 minutes, and then we're going to watch Thank You for Smoking, and then I'm going to talk to Jason Reitman about that. So thank you very much.